The United Kingdom, once the workshop of the world, finds itself at an economic crossroads. The echoes of its imperial past now seem a distant memory. The sun may have set on the British Empire, but its legacy continues to shape the nation's identity. The Industrial Revolution had its roots firmly planted in British soil. From textiles to shipbuilding, Britain's dominance fueled global trade. The pound sterling became the world's reserve currency. However, the 20th century witnessed a gradual erosion of Britain's economic dominance. The two world wars left the nation deeply scarred. The rise of industrial powerhouses like the United States and China further challenged Britain's position. Today, the United Kingdom faces a unique set of economic challenges. Decades of deindustrialization have left the economy vulnerable to global shocks. The once mighty manufacturing base has shrunk, replaced by a service-oriented economy. The UK's economic landscape is fraught with challenges that demand immediate attention. Productivity, a key driver of economic growth, has stagnated in recent years. British workers are producing less output per hour compared to their counterparts in other developed nations. This productivity puzzle has left economists scratching their heads and policymakers scrambling for solutions. Inflation, the persistent rise in the price of goods and services, has become a persistent headache for British households. The pound's post-Brexit slump has made imports more expensive, while supply chain disruptions and soaring energy costs have further fueled inflationary pressures. The Bank of England, tasked with keeping inflation in check, has been forced to raise interest rates, adding to the financial burden on borrowers. Adding to the nation's economic woes is the ever-growing mountain of national debt. The government's borrowing has soared in recent years, fueled by the costs of the COVID-19 pandemic and the need to support the economy through various crises. While the UK's debt-to-GDP ratio remains lower than some other developed nations, the sheer scale of borrowing raises concerns about long-term sustainability. A stark economic divide has emerged within the United Kingdom, a tale of two nations existing within the same borders. London, the nation's capital and financial hub, stands in stark contrast to many other parts of the country. The city's gleaming skyscrapers and bustling streets paint a picture of prosperity, a magnet for global investment and a breeding ground for high-paying jobs. However, beyond the confines of the capital, a different reality takes hold. Many former industrial heartlands, once the backbone of the British economy, have struggled to adapt to the changing times. The decline of manufacturing has left behind pockets of deprivation, characterized by high unemployment, low wages, and a lack of opportunity. This regional disparity is evident in key economic indicators. London boasts a significantly higher GDP per capita compared to other regions, reflecting the concentration of wealth and high-paying industries in the capital. Unemployment rates in the north of England, on the other hand, are significantly higher than those in London and the southeast. Brexit, a wound that won't heal. The UK's decision to leave the European Union, a process that began in 2016 and culminated in 2020, has cast a long shadow over the nation's economy. The protracted negotiations, political uncertainty, and the eventual break from the EU's single market and customs union have had a profound impact on businesses and consumers alike. Brexit has introduced new barriers to trade with the UK's largest trading partner, the European Union. Increased bureaucracy, customs checks, and regulatory divergence have added costs and complexity for businesses engaged in cross-border trade. This has led to a decline in trade volumes, impacting both exports and imports. The free movement of people, a cornerstone of the EU's single market, has also come to an end. This has made it more difficult for businesses to recruit workers from EU countries, exacerbating labor shortages in certain sectors. The impact is particularly acute in industries that rely heavily on EU workers, such as agriculture, hospitality, and healthcare. Global shocks, local tremors. The UK economy, like others around the world, has been buffeted by a series of external shocks in recent years. The COVID-19 pandemic, which brought global activity to a standstill, had a devastating impact on businesses and livelihoods. Lockdowns and social distancing measures led to a sharp contraction in economic output, pushing the UK into its deepest recession in centuries. While the government's furlough scheme and other support measures helped to cushion the blow for many businesses and workers, the pandemic has left lasting scars on the economy. Some sectors, such as hospitality and travel, continue to grapple with the aftermath of the pandemic, facing staff shortages and reduced demand. The energy crisis, triggered by a confluence of factors including the war in Ukraine, soaring demand, and supply chain disruptions, has added to the UK's economic woes. Energy prices have skyrocketed, putting immense pressure on households and businesses alike. The government has been forced to intervene, providing billions in subsidies to shield consumers from the full brunt of rising energy bills. Charting a course through uncertain waters. The UK's economic future hangs in the balance, shaped by complex factors. The challenges are real and the stakes are high. Addressing economic woes requires effort from policymakers, businesses, and citizens. Boosting productivity is paramount for sustainable growth. Investing in education, fostering innovation, and improving infrastructure are crucial steps. Addressing regional disparities ensures equitable growth. Navigating post-Brexit requires pragmatism and new trading relationships. Addressing the cost of living crisis is essential for improving living standards. The UK stands at a pivotal moment in its economic history. Choices made today will determine future prosperity. Bold policy changes and addressing systemic inequalities are essential for a prosperous future.